I genuinely think that that's the problem with Drake. Like, he's too surface level, he's too superficial. Raps about shit that, like, people, like, it's cool for a bit, but then, like, people aren't going to care, like, so much after they've heard it maybe 30 times, you know? So it's a way of freshening up the game. I think that's natural attrition, really, when it comes to music. It happens where you have, like, artists on a hot streak and you're with them and you're diehard, and then they drop something and you're like, actually, maybe I've outgrown them now, or maybe they've
realize it.
Yeah, and you know, you just sort of go cold. I luckily was never, like, on the Drake train at all.
Okay.
Never really was. Could definitely appreciate, like, a lot of his. Look, he's got ability and he knows how to make a good tune. Like, you can't ask for more than that, right?
You can't really knock him on that.
But the thing is, like, I need a bit more. I need more meat on the bones. Like, that's why I like, you know, the artists that I like. You know, a lot of, you know, we've named them all, you know, so many times, you know, ad nauseum.
For sure, yeah.
You know, the kind of rap that really speaks to me. Like, I like to learn. I like to be intellectually challenged. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not, like, against party tunes or whatever. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking.
You can't always do full bodies of work of that, you know.
Exactly. But the thing is, yeah, you can't do an album of party tunes.
Well, it depends, I guess, what you're going for, because you know, if you can play off the wall at a party and, you know, just have a good time and a good vibe.
All right, so you're talking about a great album made by one of the greatest people ever. Yeah, Drake isn't in that class, like, ever.
I think Drake could make a great album. This is what I'm talking about. If he commits, making just one of those albums that you just play and you just let it ride. And
listen,
like
he's all about the money. Yeah, bro, he's all about the money, though. That's the thing. He's like, for me, when I listened to this album, I was like, it's a collection of singles. Like, the first 14 songs, it's singles, and, like, I can hear them in a club or something like that. I feel like I'm there. Like, do you know what I mean?
I could counter that again, although you could just counter back with the exact same
go on.
Before, which is that Thriller is just a collection of singles too.
For fuck's sake.
I mean, if not every song on that album did come out as a single.
It did, didn't it? And I remember looking it up, 10 thinking number ones or something.
Yeah, it's got 9 or 10 songs on that album. Each one came out as a single,
and I think they all got number one. Yeah,
that could be an anomaly, right? But it could be a blueprint. I mean, some people do compare, in terms of hip hop, they compare Kendrick and Drake to Prince and MJ. Now, not in terms of ability, but in terms of how they approach, kind of in terms of who they are in the current, like, mainstay, right, mainstream.
Yeah.
Someone like Kendrick is a bit more kind of boundary pushing, blah blah blah. Although Michael was very boundary pushing too, but
totally.
he was very based on. That's why he didn't have as many albums. He was very based on numbers as well, like really outdoing sales and just being there right at the kind of top and making sure that he had just banger after banger after banger on his albums. You know, I think if you did like a Prince versus Michael Jackson, you know, like those versus battles where you go like hit for hit, I think MJ might just wash the floor with a lot of people, because I think he just
volume.
He just went in to create back-to-back bangers. He didn't necessarily. That's another thing we can get into. Whereas, you know, someone like Prince was just dropping music all the time. You know, that's why he
was always creating. Yeah,
always creating, always experimenting, always doing this and doing that. They're just different approaches. You know, so you could say that someone like Kendrick doesn't have back-to-back singles on his albums, but his music's built differently. Someone like Drake is probably trying to get to that point where he's just dropping back-to-back, and it could come from a point of, well, I want you to listen to my whole album from beginning to end because I want the streams and because I want the money and because I want the ego from it. Or it could be, well, this is how I feel a good, solid album should be, because some of my influences were just back-to-back bangers on their albums. It could be looked at either way like that, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. It depends, you know? Because I think he could do a whole album of 9 a.m. in Dallas, 6 p.m. in New York, Jungle.
Look, if you give me an album worth of, I don't know, 10 or 11 of those kind of songs,
Yeah, stop overloading your albums as well. Stop doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, like 17 songs. Like, my goodness. The third
Yeah.
time that I listened to this album, I was like, I don't know if I've, I don't think
got
I've
the
got
energy for it.
Yeah, man. Don't have the power, Captain.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
like I didn't have the power for that, but
No, fair enough.
no, but I do think that, you know, he's got ability. I'm not going to just like crap on him like at all.
Yeah,
Even
I
though
think
I
the guy
just
can
spent
rap.
the last
I think
half
he can
hour.
rap.
Yeah, but again, substance, rhyme schemes, all of that is basic. Like, genuinely,
Yeah,
I find
yeah.
it very, very basic. Listen, I've written like poetry and lyrics and stuff for at least 20 years. Genuinely, I don't want to sound like really big-headed, but I think I could write something like, if I could, me, a basic nobody, I think I could write stuff that would rival that quite easily. I'm not kidding. Like,
Fair
it
enough.
just doesn't impress me. Whereas, you know, I listen to guys like Black Thought, MF, and I'm like, there's no.
Yeah, Drake is nowhere. Drake.
I'm like, I'm nothing compared to that. But like,
No, for sure.
I'm on an even playing. Like, if we were sat here over, if he was playing like a beat and I was sat opposite him, and like whoever was fastest,
like both,
could write like a verse, like 16.
Yeah,
I'm writing a 16. Like, don't even worry about it, and I'll wash it.
Fair enough. I mean, like, look, people do need to stop equating this whole thing about, well, he's the biggest artist that there is, the biggest rapper there is. And it's like, okay, cool. Put him in a room with Black Thought. I think Drake will tell you, I don't want to work with Black Thought.
He knows who the sharks are.
He knows. Yeah, I think there's a reason that he hasn't like jumped on another song with Eminem, and you know, I think like these
Has
guys.
he done a song with Royce? Because I wouldn't.
I can't see them. No, I wouldn't either. As in, if I was Drake, because I don't think that's within my league, unless he has something to prove and he's just not. This is the thing I could see from Drake, him having this ability in him, but just not using it because, like you were kind of saying or alluding to, that maybe he's kind of seen this trajectory that he can be on.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I don't need to do that.
I think he's about all the money.
Yeah. See, now I'm waiting for his next album to come out because it feels like. I don't know if you've seen him. He's like tattooed this heart, not tattooed, but he's like his haircut. He's got this heart in his head, in his hairline.
Right.
And it's so fucking weird. And his new album is called Certified Lover Boy. Now, this sounds like this. It's like an obvious troll. And for someone like Drake, I think he's calculated enough that it means something, right? I'm just hoping that when I listen to it, I get it. And that I think, okay, I see what you've been building towards. I'm really hoping that this is all, you know, he's pulling something out the bag, and he's not. I reckon sometimes that he's just scared that he might alienate certain you know, we were talking about before, when you get too many, your audience diversifies a bit too much. Like, I think he might be worried that if he does too much of one thing, he might alienate a huge part of his fan base. I think Drake's in a position now where he can take advantage of his status and do whatever the fuck he wants. And maybe he does want to do the stuff that he makes. Maybe he does. Okay, cool. More power to you. I'm off the train. I still have your old music. I'll listen to that. I'm not going to force you to be one way or another.
See,
you know?
the thing is, though, as well, like, is if he was, say, for example, you and I were like sat across the table from him and we could like pick his brain about stuff, it would probably shift how we look at his music and how that music communicates with us. I just don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, he might have thought, oh, well, I just made that track for a laugh or something. Yeah, and you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. So I'll take it as such.
Yeah.
Or, well, there's no, actually, if you listen to this lyric or that lyric, like, you know, I'm actually alluding to this, that, and the other. And you're just like, holy crap. Like, there's more, you know, I just find that it's not very accessible. There are no sort of windows like into like his inner workings. He seems very, very guarded, and he'll talk about the same sort of stuff, like his parents, his mum, and that's about it. And like, what
he's a bit reactionary as well. So when he does do these kind of introspective tracks, it's very vague about what people are saying about him now, and he'll throw in like this clever line here and there, like a quotable that people throw up on Instagram and stuff. But and people will be like, is he throwing a subtle shot at this person or at that person? And it's like, you know, there's, you know, what really surprised me is when Pusha T went at him and he actually did reply with an actual diss, and it was really good. I thought it was really, really good. Obviously, Pusha bodied him afterwards.
I mean, because why would you listen? Why would you get in a Shark Tank? Like I'm not Pusha T's biggest fan at all.
No.
Just through body of work and actually listening to a lot of his like lyrics. Yeah, you don't want to joust with a Jedi. T. Not with that guy. You don't want to do that.
Target, right? See, Meek Mill is someone easy that Drake can bring out a banger and kind of have line after line, which is just quotable, and everyone would be like, Team Drake. I was Team Drake too, still am. Yeah. In terms of that fight.
Yep.
But with Pusha, the thing is that he actually replied, and his reply was really good. So I'm thinking, when you're talking about that Shark Tank thing, I'm thinking, fuck. So wait, do you have this in you? Is it just because Pusha came back with like outing the fact that you had a son and you were hiding him, and that he then ruined your Adidas kind of Adidas? I'm saying it like Americans. Adidas rollout. Yeah, his kind of rollout with where he was gonna apparently then announce, like, show that he, you know, I have a son, and the brand is named after him and stuff like that. Pusha went and came fucking ruin that. He showed that, you know, your boy 40 was pillow talking, and that's how he got his information. Like, he really cut deep like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh man, I wonder if Pusha just came back with a regular diss track, if then we would have seen more Drake diss tracks back, and we may have changed our perception. Like, okay, so you can do this. Okay. The problem is, I don't know. We don't know, right? You're right. I think he holds back. He's a bit guarded. He's a bit too vague when he does get introspective. So he doesn't show enough about himself. And then after a while, it's become a bit boring. When he does do the introspective track, I'm like, I don't really care about you anymore as a person, because you haven't given me much to begin with.
Yeah, listen, there's no substance there. Very little substance there.
Yeah, it's like
very little
throughout your whole discography. Yeah, there's not much really about you, you know. And that's okay, fine, but then it's hard to then care when
it's hard to root for him.
Introspective, yeah, exactly, because he does then just feel like this kind of faceless, kind of not faceless, but like this kind of
whiny, annoying ghost.
I wasn't going to say that, but he's like, he's just like this. He's just there. He just makes good music. He makes great music, and it resonates. And he's just hit that point where he's broken through the ceiling. Now he can do no wrong. This is my biggest issue with Drake and his fans, is that they let him get away with anything. People think I'm hating when I say that I'm not feeling like the new Drake, and I'm a bit worried about his new album and stuff like that. It's because I'm basing it on what I've been listening to.
Sure.
I've been keeping up with Drake. I was fighting for Drake. He was a big influence on me as well during that Nothing Was the Same. If you're reading this time, I was really looking forward to Views. I listened to that. That's when it kind of started to get a bit shaky for me, right? I think if you are a real fan of the artist that you love, and this applies across the board, not just in music, but even just in life. You know, when people say, you know, you should be honest with your friends, and you should be honest with, you know, people in your relationships, etc., like that. That's a form of care and of love, right?
Yeah.
So if you're an actual fan of an artist, I will sit here and tell you, Eminem has bad albums. Jay-Z has bad albums, in my opinion.
Definitely.
MJ has music I don't like, right? I'm as if I'm going to sit here and be like, nah, man, everything perfection, perfect. If anything, that kind of devalues their art. It devalues
be objective.
them. Yeah, like, you know, so for me, it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not a Drake hater. I'm just slowly becoming less and less interested because of his music's just not resonating anymore. And unfortunately, I think it's a byproduct of people just giving him a pass for everything. Like, you know, he drops something lazy, people still play it and bang it out. You know, there's no filter. There's no kind of, it's still going to get banged out in the club. So what's he going to do? He's just going to churn out more of it.
That's it. Yeah, he's trapped in his own sort of success. Like it sounds empty, because maybe he's empty. Maybe he's burned out. Who knows?
It could be. That's another thing. We might be completely missing his own internal experience, where he might be thinking, I need to put out music. This is my job, and people are expecting me to. I'm addicted now to this idea of being on top. But I don't know what to do. I don't know what to make. And then it's like, well, this is making me money, and this is making me this, and this is keeping my name in there. Okay, I'll churn out a few of these songs. I'll get Khaled to throw me a beat, and I'll throw some of this out, you know. And it's like, unfortunately, it becomes forgettable, and it doesn't add to your legacy.
That's it.
Especially if you create albums like that. But back to Drake, yeah, I'm hoping. I always wonder in the future whether it will be like I'll be sitting there with my kids and my family or whatever, and I'll see Drake come up on TV and be like, "Oh shit, yeah, do you remember when? Do you remember Drake? Yeah, he was like this guy. He dominated for all these years, right?" I wonder whether he'll be that, or it will be in the future. People will still be talking about Drake. Do you know what I mean? Like, and his impact. I wonder which one it will be, because at the moment we might think this guy, he's going to go down in history. Yeah, of course he is. He's solidified that already, right? He is. He's going to be the biggest artist, biggest hip hop artist probably of all time, right? At this point, just based on pure kind of dominance and relevance and all that sort of stuff, regardless of whether you like his music or not. Objectively, he's going to be that. Like, he's permeated everywhere. And
It's true.
He's still classified as hip hop, you know, but again, doesn't mean that he's necessarily putting out the best stuff right now. But, you know, I wonder, before I used to wonder, okay, is he going to be someone who dominated for 10 years and then jumped off the radar? And we're like, oh shit, do you remember those like 10, 20 years when, you know, Drake was just the guy, and what happened to him? Or is it going to be like, you know, oh yeah, Drake, you know, we still see him do these endorsement deals and he does this. He doesn't make music anymore, but he's still there. He's still there in the, like Will Smith, he's still kind of there. He's not making music, but he's
making movies.
He's making movies. I mean, he did start out as an actor. He's a really good actor, and he's got really good like comedic timing as well. Like, he's done skits and stuff and sketches.
Come on, yeah.
He's really good at that.
To be honest, Will Smith is
Wait, are we talking about Will Smith? I'm talking about
sorry,
Drake.
you were talking about Drake.
Yeah, because he started out as an actor.
Drake,
You've got to give him. Yeah,
I've seen him on like Saturday Night Live and stuff like that, and he's you can tell.
That's why it's so effortless for him, because he's actually, people forget he started as an actor. So when he does it in his music videos and stuff, that's one thing you can always notice, that wow, okay, this is like seamless,
legit,
effortless.
Yeah,
because he actually knows how to do it.
Yeah,
you
cool.
have to give him his respect where his respect is due, David.
Yeah,
right?
I forgot that he was an actor. It's just that, you know, maybe he's trying to do too many things. Then, you know, just concentrate on your music, or jack it in, do us all a favor, and become an actor.
I can see Drake turning into just a full-time actor at some
which
point.
Be fine. Yeah, do it. Like,
That'd be great.
Do it sooner rather than later, please.
For me, I want to see what he comes up with next, and I'm hoping that he doesn't devalue his legacy by just phoning it in. Because I know people will just bounce on it because it's Drake all the time, whatever. I don't think that's healthy, though. I don't think that's good for him as an artist. Like, I don't want to be feeling empty when I hear your songs and be like, man, I used to get excited when you dropped. And now it's like, I really want this to be good. But the last couple of albums, I've just left feeling like, man, this was a big moment. Drake dropped an album. That's a big moment. Everyone's on Twitter. Everyone's united, like, as a community. Like, wow, Drake just dropped an album. And if you're just kind of at the end of it, you're like, I can't even, what the fuck was, like, you're just empty. You wanted something from that, and you got nothing. I don't want more of that.
That's the thing, man. Like, when you're onto a good album where you listen to, say, the first two tunes, and you're like, I can't go on anymore. I must rewind and pull it up.
Yeah,
like, immediately. You know.
Husk and Leather from Nothing Was the Same was that for me. The way he flipped that Whitney Houston sample 3 different times to make basically 3 beats. It was the same sample. He flipped it, made basically 3 different beats in that one song. That's an incredible opening song, and that showed his MC chops.
Yeah,
like, he killed that shit, man. Yeah, I want more of that, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't want him to devalue his legacy. Just drop singles if you want to, like, or something, but drop, like, good ones. I don't know, like, I can't even remember Popstar, that song with Khaled. I remember Grease, because you don't sound like you on that. You're singing, but you sound like The Weeknd. You've changed your tone of voice. It's interesting. Even then, I'm not banging that out. Like, this is the thing. It's not the same as it was before. Nothing is the same as it was before. Nah. He's not the Drake I remember. I hopped
Listen,
off the train later than you, but I mean, you
it's-
weren't on the train, but
I was never on the train. No, but I've had it with artists where you're like, you know,
Yeah.
you want them to succeed, and then they just don't. Like, they're human too, you know.
exactly. I want Drake to succeed. I want him to bring out something that will change my mind and be like, yep.
I wouldn't
I'm
hold
looking
out
forward
much
to the
hope.
next. Okay. On
Like,
that note,
yeah.
no, go on. Say what you're gonna say.
No, man, I just wouldn't hold up much hope. That was all. I was going to repeat what I said.
I'm gonna stay optimistic.
Cool. It's a waste of
But
your
this-
time.
No. For this album,
I'm kidding.
if this album bombs, in my opinion, or if it
Mm.
like it doesn't, it leaves me with that empty feeling, and I'm like, man, and then I might officially be off the Drake train after that.
Fair play, man. Fair
Yeah.
play.
So I'm holding out hope because I'm a Drake fan,
Yeah.
regardless of what some people might say, you know.
Listen, you like what you like. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, people used to say to me back in the day, "Oh, I don't know, you like Limp Bizkit. They're so commercial." Well, yeah, but they make bangers. So
Yeah, it's like, I like them.
like, I like them. I really do. So
yeah,
I can't
it's like
help
me with
it.
Drake sometimes when people tell me like,
Oh, it's
Drake,
commercial,
he's
man.
commercial. I don't give a fuck. MJ was commercial.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's commercial. Eminem's
like-
like mainstream as well. I don't care. If I like him, I like him. Like
That's it. Yeah.
it is, man.
And so, like, that's the thing. That's the difference. You know, it's
Yeah.
fine.
It's cool. Yeah.
No judgment there.
But as Drake as an artist, I don't want his legacy to be devalued.
Well, fair
want
enough.
Him.
I
I
think
want him to
he's.
come out with something good.
I think he's deep in the game enough. He's all right. Legacy will be all right.
Okay.
The thing
yeah,
is,
fine.
though, one thing I will say about legacy is that, like, you know, like the Beatles wanted to live forever, and like, you know, people thought that they were the most important band of all time. But I remember when Paul McCartney was in a song with, oh my gosh, who was the rapper?
Kanye West.
Was it Kanye?
Was it Kanye and Rihanna?
Oh, whoever. So Paul McCartney did a tune like how many years ago, and then I remember looking at like the YouTube vid, and underneath was, who's this old guy with Kanye?
Yeah.
Who's this?
It's the
And it's
Kanye
like,
song. Yeah.
it's already like you're already being forgotten in your lifetime, even though you were once on top of the world. So
That's what I
this-
mean. It can be like that for Drake. He might seem like the most important thing now.
Yeah,
could
and that's
become-
the thing.
It could become just. It was only for this time period, you know.
That's it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
were part of the zeitgeist, and then you
Yeah.
disappeared into nothing. And that's the thing, you know, this thing where you're saying, "Oh, will I be a legend?" Like, yeah, for a time, but then nothing's forever, unfortunately.
And it's
So-
unfortunate that if he died at that time, then yeah, you would be a legend in the same way that we kind of idolize people who have died too early, because we don't know how it
How
would have
good
panned
they
out
would
for
have been.
Tupac. And yeah, but even we actually also don't know their potential decline. We could be having this
Exactly.
conversation about Tupac and Biggie. We could have been like, man, they were nothing like they were before.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know?
And that's the thing, like, there are very few artists that can do it. Like, there's a band that I follow that I've been a fan of, like, they're the Deftones. They've been going since, I think,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of
92, right?
Yeah.
And somehow, since that, they've been going over 30 years.
Right.
Somehow they just keep coming back with newer sounds, fresher sounds.
Some
They
people are
sound
able
really
to
good.
do that somehow.
And sometimes you're able to do that when you're a pure artist, and when you're very, very at peace with yourself.